Welcome to the Academy of Tone 132. Currently, I'm not in the studio. I'm on tour with Luke, Granfelt, Engelin, and Tommy Fisher. More about that later. What we just saw is a little snippet with Kyle Brown, a UK-based jazz guitar player. I think we met and jammed a little bit back in the days, a few years back. So, yeah, and he has a great award that he just won last week. It is the Weekly Gleaner UK Honor Awards in the entertainment category. I have a little interview with Kyle. Check this out. Yeah, hi Kyle, it's very, very nice to meet you finally.
Yes, absolutely. It's a real pleasure for me, trust me. Really
yeah, for me too. And I'm so happy to have somebody that does something completely different musically that I'm doing, and also using the AMP1, and I'm very curious about what you're doing with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, I actually, musically, I'm open to just anything, you know, and it's actually part of my personality, because as a child I was always experimenting with different things. And the amp, and my first thing was, I wonder how the jazz guitar sounds through it, an arch top. And that's the first thing I ever played through it. I didn't use anything else, it was the arch top, and I was completely knocked out. And I used this is the George Benson 12th anniversary, and this guitar loves your stuff, you know what I mean? So they're a match made in heaven, basically. But you'll just see from the recent YouTube footage that I sent you, this is what I was using.
Yeah.
With the amp.
Sounds killer, you know? To me.
So it's beautiful. So the thing about the amp is that, you know, over the years, you're always looking for other things to see if you can make that difference.
Right.
This makes all the difference, you know, this and the amp on there, all the difference, because for the first time, it ticks all the boxes. And I've had some great amps, as we all have over the years, but there's always some little area. It might be a bit too muddy, or a bit too high, or the high mids, or a bit, but everything that I need is there. And the way that you've done the settings, they're very sensitive, so I only have to move up like 0.5 on something, and
that's it.
I can hear the difference sonically.
Right. Yeah.
So it's made a difference for me, you know, and I'm just so happy to say that from a jazz perspective.
Right.
It's just the best amp I've ever had anyway, you know what I mean? But I'm so happy with the jazz.
And what are your settings? How you use them?
They kind of change slightly, depending on what guitar I use, because I do use straps through it as well. Yeah. And I've even used, I was telling you, acoustic guitar as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a YouTube video of it soon, because the amp is very flexible. With the jazz, I tend to have the bass on 6, the middle on 4, and then the treble around about 2. Sometimes it might be 2.5.
And the clean volume, what is it, in the middle or up or?
Yeah, it's kind of sort of in the middle.
Okay.
And my main volume is probably around about 4. When it gets louder than that, I'm blowing everyone off the stage. So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the jazz guys are still nice and polite. I'm playing between, let's say, 5 and 6.
Right. Okay.
But yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, it's good to hear the EQ settings, because this is what I'm curious about. You know, if there's any honkiness, or you know, how you deal with mids, because for me mids is the magic thing for the guitar.
Yes, indeed it is. Yeah, and that's where a lot of other amps that I've used are sort of found a little bit wanting. It's such a struggle to get the mids sorted out, and I just haven't had that problem with this.
What is the secret about the jazz players? With the tone control. Me being a rock player, I always roll the tone a bit down and think this is a jazz tone. Is that the case, or what are you doing there?
It's a combination, I guess, of your settings, but also, you know, that phrase, it's all in your fingers. It's definitely that.
Absolutely.
It's definitely that, yeah. what I tend to do with this is that my tone, because I generally, when I'm actually doing the solo stuff, it's obviously here, because that's a warmer sound. Sometimes when I'm doing like rhythmic things, especially if I use it in a funk situation, I've got it here.
Middle position.
Yeah, but I keep the tones full up. Okay. But sometimes what I do is I notice that George Benson, he doesn't always have his volume on full on. Yeah. It has it around about sort of 7 or something. You're hearing it even more of the resonance of the guitar, and I found that amazing.
Yeah, we are currently on tour with Blug, Granfelt, Engelin, and Tommy Fischer. We play about, I think, 7 or 8 shows here in Germany. We started in Verdol, Alt Verdol. The guys who know Go Music know that this is a very traditional place, very cool, with a lot of history. Then we played Jazz Keller, Krefeld. Soundcheck. Box only, right? Yeah. Now I have to show the guys something else. Be quiet for a second, just one second, okay? Because the Jazz Keller has a secret, and Martin.
The secret of the Jazz Keller Krefeld. Yeah. So this melody was founded here in the basement of the Jazz Keller and in the toilet. Yes. Have a listen. I can stand the rain
against my window. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ben Granfelt and Mr. Blug in the house. And we decided, or I decided, cheers, to have a very useful drink tonight. The strap lock drink. Yeah, it is way cheaper than buying it from Fender without getting a beer.
Yeah, Fender charges $750 in Finland for a set of for 2 guitars.
Yeah,
2 black and 2 red. $750 for that. How many beers can you get?
Well, tonight for me it's for free. Anyway, cheers. And we spent 2 days, I think, or 3 days now in the studio over the weekend to record new tracks for our upcoming album, which will be released next year. So Tommy Fischer, our drummer, is done with all the tracks. So we can then work on our guitar parts, and Ben can work on some vocal parts, as it will be a mixed album with some instrumentals, but also with some, classic pop rock songs. So the daily routine, well, at least for 3 days. Go Music Studio.
Guten Tag. Guten Morgen.
Oh, here, fantastic drum kit.
Hello.
Yeah, Martin Engelin, just sitting here like every day.
Hey!
Did you actually sleep or?
Yes, I slept here.
Always working, yeah. And this is where we are. There's a fretless bass that I discovered is a Les Paul bass with no frets. But it sounds killer. Here's my rig, and this is the coffee, very important.
Yes.
There's some old tape machines.
Telephone
And telephone and the beautiful kitchen. So this is where our workspace. See you later. Yeah. While being in the studio, of course, there's a lot of checking going on. And this is, Ben found out that my Blue guitar has some magic. So there was a little industry espionage. Hey, Ben Granfelt, what are you doing with this guitar?
With your guitar? Well, this is Industrial Espionage Part 2. In some episodes ago, we tried to get the treble bleed working on my guitar. So now I'm opening my spare guitar, which is your guitar, to see what the is
fuck
going
is
on.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, and this looks 10 times simpler than whatever I have.
Yeah, somebody did a lot of things on yours, and
yeah, I mean, they do a great job setting up and all this, but the electrical things we never got working. So now I'm gonna go right where it started, taking loads of pictures of everything, because I want this to work.
Yeah, sure.
I'll have to open that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And then the next part was, of course, this, my MX, and he was very interested in checking that out as well.
Hey, what's going on here? Huh?
Did you find my phone?
Yes, it's there.
No, this is not my phone.
That's my phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
So, surprise, somebody is having a spy session. MX.
Yeah, the tour will continue tonight in Hahn, Rocking Red Rooster. Then tomorrow we'll drive up to Ibbenbüren. Then there's a gig in Kempen. And finally we'll end up at a festival in Bremerhaven. Hafen, obviously at the seaside in North Germany. Yeah, but we have a little snippet from last night where we played in Oberhausen in the famous Gdanska, being very excited about a fully packed place. So after COVID, this was a very great experience to have full house. Yeah, and Ben will talk you through his latest news on the pedalboard, his guitar that he discovered, and his new projects using all 3 AMP1s. The Silver Edition, the Mercury Edition, and even the Iridium Edition.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we play Oberhausen and Ben. Hello.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, there's a few things I'd like to ask. First, on the pedalboard, any news? Not many.
No, not really. I think I changed the Wawa pedal, but that's about it.
Reuter from Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tested that one as well. And there's your cheapo wipe, which sounds killer.
Yeah, TC Electronics have some really good pedals that are cheap, and they really work well. I mean, I have the Mad Professor stuff that I have is also not that expensive. They do really well.
Yeah.
But the TC stuff is fantastic.
Yeah. And you brought a different guitar this time. What is this? Custom guitars? What is it?
TW Custom Guitars. This is this is my first Strat. It's a 1973 Sunburst Strat that was owned by one of the great Finnish player called Jukka Orma, and it was Sunburst rosewood neck with big headstock.
Yeah.
And I broke the neck by accident, so I had to get a new one. First I got an ESP neck, and I was a really big fan of Gary Moore, then still am. But he had the band called G-Force at that time.
Yeah.
So I put leopard skin on the Sunburst, and then I took it off and I painted it red, and you can still see the red color here.
Yeah.
And then I took the painting off. This is while I was in Gringos Locos, and these are the last shows I did with Gringos Locos with the guitarist. And I put the guitar away. And during Corona, I was cleaning my rehearsal room, and I have like 15 guitar cases there, and I moved them from one side to the other of the room to be able to vacuum and clean.
Yeah.
And the last case was, oh, this is heavy. And the guitar was there. It had a different neck, and I took it to this TW Custom Guitars.
Yeah.
I got 2 great friends working there, and they said, okay, we have a neck for you, and there was a Floyd Rose on it, and they pimped it up, and it works fantastically. What they do is they put steel rods into the neck, so the
joint is very tight.
Very tight, yeah. Then they do wonderful fret jobs, stainless steel, and.
But this is kind of jumbos,
yeah,
right?
Jumbo, yeah. And I mean, I haven't used the Floyd Rose for a long time, but when I got it, I immediately got inspired to write differently, yeah. And the band that I was in the 90s, we kind of got together again during this year. And it's very AOR, like Journey, Foreigner, Toto, this kind of stuff. And we were quite big in Finland. And I wrote a song called Freedom Day, which just came out as a single and a video. And I've written 5-6 more songs, and it's all with this guitar and the Floyd Rose. It's not whammy bar stuff like per se, but I write completely differently, and I play completely differently. So I was, their guys in the shop actually put a joke. It says Fender Corona because this was during Corona. Yeah, they put this on the. But check out Guitar Slingers. It's a great band.
That's the new album, the new songs that you write for this project.
Yeah, the song is called Freedom Day, and the singer and I and the bass player, we were all in Leningrad Cowboys. So we had
a lot of history.
Yeah, a lot of history, and then we're old enough not to fight anymore. I disagree. It's all smiles. It's just as when we meet, but it's all smiles and great. I can't be happier doing what I do. I'm happy that I'm still playing guitar with great players.
Absolutely. Hey, and there's one more thing. Now, with this Guitar Slinger band, you are using the Iridium, right?
Yeah, that was another thing, also by mistake, because the Iridium was hooked up in my studio. I just plugged in and I felt with the humbucker, and I wanted a little bit more modern, thicker sound. And I was just like, whoa, this is it. So now I have to make another pedalboard.
So by now you have
Silver,
which are you using currently on this tour?
Silver, and this is like my small travel board, and that's what I use the silver. And then I have a big board
with the Mercury.
Mercury, which is stereo out but mono on stage.
Okay.
That was great. And now I have to build another one. As we spoke earlier, I said Iridium and maybe HX effects.
Like a different type of effects, not the vintage style effects?
No. I only need like stereo delays and some chorus for the cleanish sounds. And wireless. Ooh, I haven't had those in years.
How would you describe the differences in the different AMP1s? That's a question I get many, many times. I have my own opinion, but how would you describe the Silver versus Mercury versus Iridium?
Well, the Iridium I play faster. I would say it's thicker, it's denser on the distortion.
Yeah.
And it stays really well together. But if I would play only with a Strat, with single coils, I miss the fatness that there is on the Mercury, and possibly even more in the Silver. But they, I said it before, that they're all great. I can't say which is my favorite. I wouldn't use the Silver with Guitar Slingers.
Yeah, sure. Different band, different approach, different guitar. So if the mix of the guitar matches the amp, that's
the best thing with the Iridium was that we're working with a producer called Jimmy Westerlund. He produced One Desire, which is on Frontier Records, very big, and he's a big producer in Finland. And he was blown away with the tones. He said, "What is this? What is this? What amp did you use?" I said, "It's one of these small Tonal Blue AMP1 Iridium." "Yeah, but what amp was it?" I said, "That's the one." And now he's calling me. "So what settings do you have?" He's getting one too. It goes on and on, but but he was just blown away. I used the Blue Box, and
that's it. And on the other hand, you are working on your 20th solo record, besides what we are doing.
I actually worked on it because it's mixed, mastered, and the cover artwork, everything is done, comes out next year, 16th of June when I turn 60.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Together you will make even more.
Yeah, and my old Strat is all over the album, and it's also 1963, so it will also turn 60 next year.
See? Okay. Hey, great, Ben. I think this was a super nice update. We have our merch over here, and this place will be packed in a few minutes, so we better have a...
Oh yes, and one thing, last time we played here, Eddie Van Halen died, and I just heard that Dan McCafferty of Nazareth has passed away.
Yeah, the singer.
Yeah. So Martin Engels said he's not going to take me here anymore. But rest in peace, Dan. What a voice!
What a voice! Unbelievable. I was renting some of my amps to Nazareth once in Germany when they recorded stuff. And they had a good party, I can tell you.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in Wishbone Ash, Andy Powell used to tell me stories. They toured South Africa together, and he said that they would never stop playing. They would have acoustic guitars, the bass player would play acoustic, and then Manny Charlton, whatever his name, the guitar player, and then they would always sit around the table and sing songs all the time. Smoke joints, drink beer.
They were the real rock and rollers.
Music was their life. It's I'm not the same way, but music is my life. But I think that's the old school that is doing that.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have CD players.
No.
They don't have fucking mini disc when that came out.
And internet and YouTube and all that stuff. So, but I mean, but this is when I think about the songs, you know, Love Hurts, you know, and the unbelievable.
But all like I just played you guys the live version of Telegram, and when he starts saying the telegram today, and you think that, oh my God, that guy's gonna die.
Yeah, but he's going for it. Yeah.
But also like Beggar's Day, all those classic albums, Loud and Proud.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. It's gonna be. Let's have a good night tonight.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, there's more news from the BluGuitar family. Dutch guitar dude, Mr. Eric de Jong, is showing his latest pedalboard build. Check that out too.
Hi, I'm Dutch Guitar Dude. Welcome again to my guitar channel. Today I'm going to show you my latest pedalboard. This is the pedalboard I'm going to use with my cover band. So it's a little upgrade from the last board. What you see on here was on the last board too, except for this one and except for this one. And this is the controller for some analog pedals which are underneath the board. So basically this board has two sections. This is so to speak the analog BluGuitar and AMP1 section, and this is so to speak the MIDI section. So I can go with MIDI presets for my band, acoustic, see the timeline is also switched with some presets. And of course the AMP1 is switched with different kind of presets. Set this to the right preset. The zoom is in the loop of the MS3, which I'm using here. That is this side, and so this is controlling the AMP1 and the timeline in different presets. And I also can add stuff like here. I can add the zoom in, or a pitch shifter chorus, a short delay. Tremolo. So with this side I already can do a lot, and it has the preset, so I can switch from a clean sound with a reverb to a drive sound with a fat delay.
So when I go to this section, this is what I call my play section. This is controlling some pedals that's under here and the vibe that's here. So this is a octo fuzz. Let me go to my play section. There's an octo fuzz. This is a compressor. And I can use that especially with chorusy sounds. Then here I have a Univibe. Well, here is that's this pedal, and it has presets, and I made 3 presets. This is the Univibe. And this is a vibrato setting. Then I have a phaser setting. But I mostly use it on the Univibe setting. And then this is the Voodoo 1 that's underneath the board. Especially with a clean sound, that's giving me a bit of the Hendrix vibe. And then from out here it goes into the DGD drive. I will explain this drive in a minute. This is my good old Gen Ray Tube Screamer clone. Then it goes in the stereo course, and then it goes into the front of the BluGuitar and AMP1. So the DGD drive, a friend of mine came by my house last, and he had a drive. He said, try this drive pedal, and well, instantly it was awesome, especially on the clean channel. I have always had the Maxon SD9 on my board for drive in the clean channel, and this well, it's just better. It's very dynamic, just like the SD9, but it has more growl to it. So this is with the volume very low. So it really has a Marshall quality to it. And it's very dynamic. It responds very well to the volume knob of the guitar. So on the clean channel it's already awesome. If I add a little bit of delay. Univibe. I can boost it with either the Voodoo 1 a compressor or the Tube Screamer. The Tube Screamer is in front of the this drive, so Voodoo 1. With the Tube Screamer. Or a compressor in front. Of course, when I use the vintage channel, it also works very well. This is without the DGD drive. DGD stands for Dutch Guitar Dude. So this is just a vintage channel. MIDI gain is on 50 and this is maxed out, so I don't have the treble bleed. Slapback. Add the DGD drive. So it's very good for lead sounds with the clean channel and especially with the drive channel. We're gonna try it on the classic channel. So this is the classic without the drive. Also 50 on the MIDI gain. Delay. The DGD drive. Let's go to the clean channel and listen to the DGD drive in different settings. So this is a tone control or filter. This is the gain and this is level. So level off. It has a lot of volume. Let's put it all the way open. So the gain on minimum. It also has a lot of gain. Gain halfway. Gain on 75%. Gain all the way open. So it has a lot of gain. I like it on this setting, the gain just below 50%. So I can work with my volume control, get it really clean. And really drivey with the volume all the way open. And the filter. So initially the sweep of the filter was much broader, and I said to the guy, can you make me the drive you already have but with a shorter sweep, because I'm not gonna use anything from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock. So he adjusted the sweep, so now I can go really subtle. This side is the treble side, this side is the darker side. So let's start with trebly. So even in the extreme setting, it's still very usable. Halfway. %75%. Clean channel. Then the darker side. So you hear it's still very usable in the extreme settings. That gives you a lot of subtle control on the tone.
Another pedalboard built by Lucas Fowler from the US. Well, he is Mr. Warwick Smith Guitars, Iridium, and he also checked out our cabinets.
Hey Thomas, we're here in this beautiful rehearsal space that we use, which is a framed-in basement. And I'm here with cabinets and like in a room, and I have it turned up so you can see what the pedalboard thing does with the AMP1. I think it's pretty cool. So I use it like this. I have, for this band, I kind of have like a clean sound. Which is just clean with some reverb, and that's all AMP1. And then I have like a kind of a more bluesy sound, which is with this Jan Ray pedal. kind of uses, like I use it for verses and stuff, but that's into the clean channel, the Jan Ray into the clean channel. And then I have like a drive sound, so this is the modern channel of the AMP1, which is very aggressive. For your metals. And there's no reverb on that one, it's just real tight. So I really like that sound a lot. That's what I play most of the night on for Intertwined. And then this new thing I've been doing is for the lead sound, I've been using this AT pedal into the clean channel with some delay on it, rather than using like the classic mode or something, because I think it sounds really sweet and violin-y. And then this wah pedal, which is just a kind of for certain solos. Probably use that actually with the lead sound. So just really basic stuff, but this is so helpful to me because the whole rig is here on the board, and I just run a big long speaker cable with some cabinets, and that's it. The Nano Cab has a very tight, punchy response with more mids and less bass in the open back mode. I prefer this cab for low volume home practicing, sit-in gigs, traveling, or in particular combined with the Fat Cab. I would be curious to hear two Nano Cabs together, but that's kind of a rabbit hole for another day. The Fat Cab has a much larger bass response and almost seems scooped by comparison. I like this for band rehearsals, gigs on small to medium sized stages, and of course, as I said, combined with the Nano Cab. While the Nano Cab might not have the chunky bottom to do metal stuff on its own, the Fat Cab most certainly does. The Twin Cab has the most bass of the three cabinets, but in the vertical position, the bass is much tighter and the mids are much more present. It also seems to smooth out the top end quite a bit in the vertical position, which is really interesting. In the horizontal position, it can produce massive low-end chunky palm mutes while still cutting through the mix. In the vertical position, it can really take you into sweet, soaring lead tones with a nice bouncy bass response. The Twin Cab can cover a tremendous amount of ground tonally, but it is also quite a bit larger than the Nano and Fat Cabs. The Twin Cab is actually my favorite of the three cabs by itself, in particular in the vertical position. It has this great large bass without being too boomy, and it still cuts through the mix in a really nice warm and friendly way. Blending the Nano Cab and the Fat Cab together is a terrific combination. You get pronounced mid-range frequencies from the Nano Cab, and the Fat Cab fills out the bottom. You could gig on any size stage with these two cabs, and the combined headroom will give you enough to run your AMP1 wide open if you so choose, and the sound guy doesn't choose to open a trapdoor in the stage. Blending the Twin Cab, Fat Cab, and Nano Cab together is a lot like running a full-range PA system that has subs, mains, and horns. The three cabs together produce all of these different audio frequencies, and hearing your guitar through all of these cabs is this incredibly complex three-dimensional experience that literally gives me chills. If you just want to hear all the cabs and combinations back to back, here you go.
That was Lucas Fowler from the US, a YouTuber, but also a live gigging musician. Here's another YouTuber from the Netherlands, Sonic Drive Studios. He did a great video showing the AMP1 Iridium edition in a short clip, very impressive. Here's another YouTube video on the Vintage Guitar channel. Vintage Guitar, which is the UK brand where I have like 2 signature models, which I like. And I explain a little bit about my story and the background here.
Good morning and welcome to the next Vintage Legends. My name is Graham. I'm from the Vintage Guitar Group and you can find us on Facebook. So it's facebook.com/groups/the Vintage Place. You can check us out on Instagram at 95 Vintage Legends and we would love you forever, and you know that if you were to hit subscribe below. So today I'm here for the next Vintage Legends with the one and only Mr. Thomas Blug. So good morning, Thomas. How are you?
Good, I'm fine, yeah.
And thanks you so much
for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us on your Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But how did you, in the first instance, come across vintage?
Well, it's through Trevor Wilkinson. I mean, I'm let's call myself a trade show veteran. I've been on trade shows in the last century, in the whatever, 90s, 80s. I think I was there as a fan in the 80s, asking for signatures from Simon Phillips, the drummer, back then. And then a few years later, I became a demonstrator. And then, of course, these trade show people, you come across interesting people. And Trev was one of them. And he was cheating me once with my 61 Strat. So, I had prepared my demo, and then I went to the toilet quickly before I was doing my 20 minutes little demo show. And when I came back, my this original 61 Strat, Fender Strat, was sitting without me on stage while I was on the toilet really quick. But when I came back, it was disappeared. And a white distressed guitar with no logo and a plaster on the headstock was in my guitar stand, and people were already waiting for my demo. So I took that guitar and I started my demo, and kind of in the middle of the demo, he came around the corner. I didn't see him before, so he was kind of hiding, showed me the 61 Strat is still there, smiling at me. And then after my demo was over, we started to talk, and they said that, I'm working on something new. And then he kind of forced me to try it out without anything. And I thought, what's going on here? And then
it's a nervous moment.
Oh yeah. This was Anyway, but the thing is, when I was having a chat with him, I told him, if I ever do something like that, I want whatever, my dummy coil, I want my treble bleed, I need tuning stability, I need all the features.
What is it that makes you play those guitars and have your signature and your name on those guitars?
Well, the thing is, they do it the way I want to have it. I mean, I was offered other guitars previously in my life from whatever other companies. They even would give me money to play it, and I refused it, which made me a big fan of other companies. But just because I told them I don't play anything stock. I only play what I want. And because, I was refusing instruments like with the words, this will not change anything in my life. If you give me your guitar, I'm not happy with your guitar, even if though it's a great guitar. No, I need to have my recipe to a certain level, that it's so good that I forget while playing that vintage guitar. I'm happy, and I can totally forget and focus on the music.
Yeah.
So for me, it was important that I didn't have to compromise in any way. But of course, I know my 61 Strat is still a guitar that has been played for decades, and thereby is probably this gives an instrument a quality of its own. But the vintage is at the level that I pick it up, and it's like, for me, forget it. It's the last 3-5% are not important anymore, because everything else is right.
Yeah.
And there's so when I play my Blug plays Hendrix shows, I play like at least half of the concert on the vintage and the rest on my 61. And when I play other concerts, I play my 61 and I have the vintage as a backup. And I remember I forgot my 61 original Strat once at my sister's place and went to the concert with just my vintage. So I played with just my vintage. And when I travel internationally, my original Fender Strat stays at home, and I play the vintage exclusively.
In terms of what is coming up next, I know you are an incredibly busy man, which is also why I'm very grateful to get your time today. But what is coming up for music? What's coming up for the AMP1 and Blug guitar?
Yeah. Well, on BluGuitar, of course, AMP1 is the big project, and it's kind of the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. A simplified explanation of that thing is I have all the amps that I ever seen in all the pedals, being it analog or digital, in one device, which is only 40 centimeters wide. And it's like, I can even put that in my gig bag. It's a full guitar pedal board with your dream pedals and amps in a format that you can travel in your gig bag. So this is like, if I draw all the lines from my early days to whatever I learned in my life, I put that in this product. My prototype is working, and so I know I will get there eventually.
Yes.
So
it's another thing that's going to be on my shopping list, because I have, of course, one of these, which is this is the original silver edition one. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm half considering selling an Engel Thunder in order to get an Iridium edition, so that might be next on my shopping list.
Yeah, I mean, I'm touring with the AMP1 since day one. I still have a huge collection of other amplifiers, mainly boutique stuff and vintage amps, because I don't need ordinary amps. I'm living in this kind of snobby high-end world with very good guitars and even better amplifiers, with a collection of old tubes and speakers and whatnot. But that's my life. I have all the excuses to do that, because
let's face it though, I know obviously we're talking a lot about vintage and such as well, but like the fact that this is this size and can fit into any bag. The biggest fear I have with this is never ever in reliability or tone, because it's fucking amazing. The biggest problem I ever have is I forget it and leave it somewhere.
It's the same problem here, under the seat of my car. But for me, what is the biggest thing about AMP1 or the Blug guitar thing is now I'm connected to killer players.
Yeah.
I mean, Adrian Vandenberg has an Iridium. You talked about that, and the silver one, one of those, and Jennifer Batten was my first customer. She and I even could connect with her to invite her on my Rock Anarchy tour. So it all kind of comes together, and now even Ben Granfelt, I'm doing the next album with. he used to be Mr. Engel of Scandinavia for 10 years or something. And he plays AMP1 now, not only because of me, but he had 5 or 4 failures on the tour. Then he said, "Hey, Thomas, that sucks. Can you send me one of those AMP1s? Because, my colleagues in the band told me that it sounds good because they played with me as well." And then I said, "Okay, no problem. I'll send you by post, give you a quick instruction, and the tour goes on." Here's another great video that you can find on our channel from Laura Yasinski about being on tour with Waracles.
Hi, I'm Laura. I am the guitar player for Waracles on this Waracle Orchestra tour. We're today here in Luxembourg, and I brought with me my magnificent AMP1 from BluGuitar. Today is a really stressful day because one of our buses broke down in Belgium, so nothing is going as planned, but that's the magical side of the live music, I guess. And we're in Luxembourg. This is where I will be playing, obviously on this little thing here. And yeah, this is quite a small club, but everything is amazing. The backstage are amazing, people here are amazing, and I'm excited to hopefully play the show tonight. But yeah, we're on the way to an interview. My first interview as a musician, really, so.
Welcome back to the BluGuitar YouTube channel. It's Rich here, Thomas is elsewhere on business, and I am delighted to be at the Luxembourg Rock Hall with one of our newest endorsers and friends. It's Laura Yasinski. How you doing?
I am doing very well, thank you, and I'm so happy that you guys are here to finally meet up in real life. And yeah, we're gonna play in that show tonight, I guess.
For those of you who haven't yet heard of Laura, I'll tell you how I came to know her and how she's come to become part of the BluGuitar family. Now, you started your career, as I know it, on Instagram. Like a couple of years ago, we were searching through up-and-coming guitar players. We were looking for young and exciting people to play our amps, or to at least ask if they'd like to try our amps. And I think it was actually Lucas, the cameraman, who came across your profile and got in touch with you and said, "Hey, we make this amplifier called the AMP1. Would you like to play it?" Yeah. And at that point, you would, I would say, doing more sort of rock and metal stuff. You were doing covers, you were doing vocals and piano as well, if I remember.
Kind of a little bit, but
just sort of finding your way on social media, so to speak. So how did it feel when suddenly, out of the blue, this random guy from a random guitar amp company wrote to you and said, "Hey, do you want to check out the AMP1?"
Well, it's kind of like you have this sort of imposter syndrome where you're like, why me? Like, I'm like, do I really deserve that? But it was really a surprise because he was like, "Hey, are you endorsed by any amp brands?" And obviously I was like, "No, I don't think I'm ready for that." I thought like he was just somebody like asking randomly, And he was like, "Yeah, so we've got this amp." And I was like, "Wow, like, yeah, sure, I would love to try it out." And it feels really like flattering. It's kind of like you're stepping up. You're like, okay, now like I can start to do this like kind of professionally. But yeah, really, really flattered though.
Yeah, well, talking about starting to do it professionally, at that point you weren't a professional musician, right? You were trying to become one. So how did your career start, and where did you get the desire to become a professional musician?
So basically it started back when I was 7, when I got into music school and started playing the piano. From that point on, like I played with some bands in music school, and I realized that, wow, this is like, I don't know, it just brings me life, if that makes sense. And then there was really no other profession that I had in mind that I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to be like always in the go and always doing what I love. And yeah, and then when I went to university, a friend of mine was playing the guitar and I was listening to a lot of rock and metal, and he was like, "Hey, you should try," and I tried, and it was like, wow, this is like, I can play literally what I'm hearing, like I can play the songs of my favorite bands. And this is where I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, those people inspire me so much, and I want to inspire other people as well, to basically tell them that I know it's not like a common profession to become a musician. Like, people are like, yeah, it's not a job, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, you can, if you're inspired and if you have something to bring to the people, do it. Like, there is no other words, just do it.
Just talking a little bit more about that, like, you are a multi-instrumentalist, you do play piano as well, you sing too. Would it be something you'd be looking to do all yourself, or would you be looking to bring in a series of band members?
So singing, I would actually love to, get better and take proper lessons, because I love to sing, but I don't have really a technical. But no, I would love to do it with a band, with people that just know their jobs, because as much as I love to create everything myself, there are people that are great singers and they meant to be singing on stage. So yeah, I would take band members with me, I think. Yeah.
This is always the last question that I ask people in interviews normally. So if you were going to play one gig and you were going to be able to have a half-hour set, you can pick the musicians who join you on stage. They could be living or dead. Who are you going to pick to play bass, drums, guitar, vocals, keys for you, and what songs are you going to play?
Okay, I would say, so for the lead guitar / for vocals, I would take Taylor Momsen. On the drums, I would take Travis Barker, because he's an insane energy. I never seen that. On the bass, who's on the bass? Probably Flea, because he's really fun. And who else? Rhythm guitar.
You can do that if you want.
Joe Hotinger.
Okay.
From Hailstorm. Yeah, that would be a sick-ass band.
That would be a pretty sweet and unique project.
Yeah. A blending of influences, it's something that you need to create new things, after all, so yeah.
Well, there you go. This was Laura Yasinski, everybody. If you've not heard of her before, what are you doing? Go and check her out on Instagram, YouTube, and elsewhere.
Yeah, I had a great interview with Martin Engelin, the master of Go Music, which is kind of the jam band. For me, very important here to meet other musicians, to experience yourself with other musicians, but find out this in our interview with Martin Engelin.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Martin Engelin. He is not only a super professional bass player with a long history of big names, Klaus Lage for the Germans, tausendmal berührt, tausendmal gerührt, but also jazz people like
Albert Mangelsdorff.
Yeah, so there's a long history in your bass player life. But we are here in the Go Music studio. So when did you decide to have your own studio?
That was very, very early. That was in the beginning of the 90s.
Okay.
So I established my first studio in 1992 in my house. I owned a house in that period. In the basement was our rehearsal room. And then after I was working in the studio for a long, long time, professional-wise, with lots of bands in the 80s. And I had some small gear like Tascam 244
tape recorder,
4-channel.
I had the same.
Yeah. And made my first experiences with this kind of gear. And I was working in big studios like Wisseloord in the Netherlands, or Powerplay in Switzerland, or EMI studios in Cologne.
Yeah.
And I decided to make to establish my own studio. That was beginning of the 90s, 92 I think, with a 16-track tape machine, and you don't see, but it's still here with my 32 Mackie desk.
I actually have exactly the same. So it is Still one of the great analog desks, but in digital age we switch a lot for plugins. Yes. We had this conversation the other day.
Yes.
So the studio is one thing, but I think most people lately know you for the Go Music. And Go Music, to explain to people internationally, is, I would say it's kind of a jam band, but it is something with an extra level to me. It's something like Alexis Corner or the Yardbirds in the 60s in the UK, where people could meet, play together, and then sometimes in the 60s, you know, there was like Led Zeppelin out of the Yardbirds, or the Rolling Stones out of Alexis Corner founded, because the musicians met on this kind of
platform.
Yeah, platform, or you know, it's kind of a hub for musicians too. That's from my perspective, because I joined Go Music many times over many years.
Many years ago,
decades. I think it goes
decades,
back. So, what made you start to make the Go Music? What was the idea?
The idea was already established in my head in the 80s, when I was with Klaus Lager. The Germans know who it is. We were in a big TV show called Wetten, dass. Wetten, das is, everybody in Germany knows Wetten, das. And we were there with every single we released. And in mid of the 80s, there was a TV show on Wetten, das with the Scorpions and with Simple Minds and with Klaus Lager Band. And I was sitting in the casino and having beer and was looking to what we call Kameraprobe. That is for the acts, the big acts like the Scorpions, has to act like marionettes for the cameras. Yeah, for the cameras, because it should look nice. I know, should look nice. But then I saw them, and then I saw the same procedure for Simple Minds. Yes, and then I saw this was acting the same without any cable in the bass, because it's always playback. And then the regisseur, the director comes and said, you go 1 meter more to front and looks better, and so, and you have to keep in mind where you stay, and you have to act as you would play, but you don't play. And then I was thinking, shit, these are all great people who can play music, so let's go music, let's went.
Let's do music,
Let's do music, and this was the birth of it. And so I started in the 80s with doing it sometimes in a year with some people. But then in 1996, which is also a long time ago, in May 1996, this was established as a monthly tour with about 8 to 12 concerts every month.
Like every first week of the more or less winter months, September to
June.
Or June even. Okay.
Winter.
Depends on how long the winter is. And the list of people that played on Go Music over, when did it start? 1996 as the regular.
It's 27 years now. Wow. I'm in the 27th years now to establish it monthly. But before it was in the 80s. It was once
occasionally, whenever you found an occasion to play with these people. For me, as being part of a Go Music, the exciting part is I can meet fresh people. And it's always a great surprise, because Martin has a taste how to put people together. It's like, okay, this is this kind of singer. Let's see what comes out if I stick these two guys together. Sometimes weird combinations, sometimes very obvious combinations, and it's always refreshing. One thing I learned is when you go on tour with Go Music, it changes your musicianship's life. Because before, you rehearse the songs, you are prepared, you go on stage and you kind of
repeat something that you learned in a way that you think that's the best for the song because you learn the arrangement and you pay a lot of attention to details and did he play that F sharp minor chord in this inversion or on this place on the neck. If you do Go Music, you come on stage and you don't know what's happening. There is a set list. Sometimes there isn't even a full set list. So we meet kind of at 5 at the first venue, not in the morning, and you do know the audience is there in a few hours. And we have to eat, which deducts from the showtime and at the beginning you think, man, is this gonna work? But this is experience on stage, and you always have an opening tune, which actually nobody knows. Martin just goes on stage and plays a bass line and says, this is the opening song for the first for this tour, and it's always something different. And when you go on stage for the first time, you have no idea, you are not prepared. You have to come up with a theme, like a melody, instantly to make it a song, because there is nothing. There's not even la la la. No, it's like, this is, do it.
It's a chord change progression. Changes progression.
With a groove.
With a groove.
And so this is always the first thing that somebody like me joining Go Music is experiencing. So you're standing there in front of the audience. Everybody's super excited, including the band. Nobody knows nothing at the first song, and then Go Music.
Go Music.
Yes. And the rest is history. And then, of course, you have the concept is jam is appreciated. So the musicians that you invite are first-class musicians with different styles, with different backgrounds. So there is a lot of freedom, and it's actually the great thing that these people can show their personality. And that is what you can learn and experience as a musician in a Go Music, that you have to react with the other band members, whatever the drummer is. And some things might work, some things not.
But you keep in mind that then the next day you can work on it again and establish your musicality a little bit more to react or act or whatever. So
and for me that's totally exciting, you know. And I would call this, if you have done a Go Music, you become a proper man, or you know, you become next level improviser or something.
It's a Go Music school.
Yeah,
people say it's a Go Music school.
Yeah, I totally agree. And when I look back at my first times with like Charlie T on drums, it's like, hey, this is a stadium drummer, you know, with the whole attitude, you know, no prisoners, boom. And okay, I played with great drummers, but I didn't play with Charlie T before. Well, I did in a rehearsal, but not the real deal, you know. And it's so instant to meet musicians on that level, because it's not like, we rehearse something. No, it's like we make music on the ultimate level, because it's now or never.
As I remember, you met David Reedman.
Yeah,
in Go Music.
I met David Reedman. You know, I heard of him because he back then was living in Karlsruhe. But you know,
you never played with him.
Never played.
Go Music was the first time.
And this is why I said this is kind of an Alexa's Corner thing, or it is the hub where we can actually meet, and musicians can meet and check out what the chemistry is under real conditions. And sometimes you find, okay, this is a great musician, but the chemistry is not good, which is fair enough. And it's better than to form a band with a guy and then found out half a year later with a lot of drama.
Also, people say, if you go to Go Music, that is kind of, you must be good.
Really?
But then later, the recall decide. There are some people who were there only one time and don't get a recall, and now over these years they say, you was in Go Music. Okay, so you got a recall? No? Oh, And this is, but I want to say good quality check here, kind of. Good that you mentioned Alexis Corner also, the 60s.
Yeah.
Actually, I got my musicality, my understanding for that from that period, because I'm old enough to have seen these guys and made the experience there. And when I was 14, I saw for the first time, aged 14, I saw Pink Floyd in Amsterdam, in Olympiastadion. And I was hooked, Uma Guma and whatever, so, and all the sound experience in this big stadium where a motorbike was driving around me, and I've never experienced like that. And then I saw them 2 years later, and I was impressed about the variety of the same songs. So they played the same songs, on some of the same songs. Of course, the new album, you have to play the new album. It was in this period the same as today. When you make a new album, you present the new album and take some other songs from your past, of course. And so I saw them when I was age 16, and it was impressive to see how they improvise with their songs. You realize a song and you say, that's Piper at the Gates of Dawn. But it was different than 2 years ago when I was, what I have in mind, what I remember how they played it. And then I saw them when I was maybe 20 or so, and this made my musicality a little bit more thinking about not only repeat what you rehearsed and play, but you are able to play with your own material. The guitar solos of David Gilmour in that period, they were starting the same as on the record, and then was in the middle was 5 minutes, whatever, and then it was the outro in the next part of the song was there. But in this 5 minutes in the middle, it was always great to have a listen what David Gilmour's
current message was.
His message was in that day, that day, and how he felt in this moment.
Yeah. So I totally relate to that, because for me, making music, this quality of living the moment with your song or with somebody else's song is the most exciting thing for me. Not only as a player or a listener, also as a player. For me, this is all what makes me happy. It's like a soccer game. I'm not a big, but it's every game is different. I mean, next weekend you have to play versus another team, and you don't know how many goals you get. And this is the same with Go Music. There's some little fuck ups here and there, but they don't matter. And you actually learn how to make a good performance, even if you have a tiny little fuck up here and there. Because, you shouldn't be blocked. You should go with the flow. You should think positive. You perform positive, and this is the
there is no ego. There is a team. You have to build a team, and you have to look what the drummer is doing, what the other people in this band are doing, and you have to follow this and to make it great. So you don't have to play against somebody. So always you have to play with somebody. Maybe you don't know this guy, but you have to play with this guy.
Yeah, see, so this is your 25th anniversary.
Yes, 25th anniversary. I don't know how many people of you are 25, but this was done in last year, because 96 was established in 2001. This was released.
See, and I'm on this, and I think I don't even remember what I did on this one. Do you know who?
Yes, you played on Skyfall,
which is a Bond song.
A Bond song, is a Adele song, but we played it in the mentality of Within Temptation, or Evanescence, very hard, heavy rock, with Dirk Brandt on drums. Sylvia Gonzalez Bolivar on vocals, and Sherry Gehring on keyboards.
Ah, we had keyboards as well.
Yes, Sherry Gehring.
Okay, well, I don't know.
and of course, on bass, it's
always Martin.
Yes. And there you played on Skyfall here on this record.
What is? Am I on this one as well, or?
Yeah, these are the ones you have here. These are my Corona help CDs.
I just see this, my little picture in the corner.
Yeah.
So.
It's I established that when Corona started to support the musicians who were participating in that. These are all originals. So to tell you the truth, beside what Thomas said, so that we take known songs to improvise, and I say we don't cover, because if you would cover, you must know the song
correctly,
and maybe you must know the bass line or the guitar part, and then you must bring it together to make it as a cover band, like 1-to-1, so that it's a cover. But for me, it's enough when I ask some guy, "Hey, do you know Come Together from Beatles?" And he said, "Yes."
Okay.
Did you play it? What? No. So, but let's play.
Let's play. What key? That's the only. That's the only information you need.
Yes, yeah. And so, and also when the drummer is making, for example, in Come Together, I said, please don't do that.
Yeah, do something
whatever you feel, but don't do that what is on the record. We are not covering.
Yeah.
We are doing a kind of own improvisation out of this song. Beside these cover originals, which we establish every night on stage, we play original songs from members of this band also, but in a Go Music way. So this is what they tell them. I said, Thomas, we play My House is Green from your record, but we don't cover your record. Yeah. We play it in a Go Music style. So and so
here's the One Earth song, which is kind of one of those intro songs that came out of nothing out of a bass line from Martin, you know. So
yeah, and these are two CDs. One is called Hope, and the other is One Earth, and there are only originals of the band members. For example, here is also
Ben Granfelt, Jill Edwards,
My Soul to You from Ben Granfelt,
Christian Schwarzbach, Ronnie Lee from the US, Dave Goodman, Martin Gershwitz, Vanessa Habeck, Gregorius Kostaritis. I don't know this guy. I never played with him. I played with a couple of them.
It's GK. His name is GK.
Okay.
He's a Greek, and Gregorius Kostaritis is not an artist name, so he said GK.
Kostaritis sounds like Richie Kotzen. Sorry,
the
Greek way.
It sounds like you are ill.
Yeah, but Mr. Blug is the same for you guys in English. It's I'm not the best name. Vanya Krabach.
Yeah, that's her real name. She is known as Vanya Sky, the blues girl from Croatia. Vanya Sky. Yeah. But because when you write the credits to the gamer, you have to write the real name.
I see. Okay.
Or Michelle Po from Singapore.
I played with her, I think.
Great singer from Singapore also.
Yeah, and like pop tunes. What was this? I think this was whatever. It was great to play, and this is the point. Pop tunes with rock attitude, or in a 3-piece, and whatnot. So anything can happen.
My House is Green from Thomas Blum.
Yeah, of course.
And there are some German videos here. Sorry, we didn't find the time to have subtitles on those videos, but they're probably still interesting to you guys. One is from Session Music Frankfurt. Olli asking me about AMP1. This video is released on the Session channel, as all the videos that we show here. There's links to the long versions you can find in the description below. So this is a nice little video that you will see right now about Session checking out the AMP1. And then there's a video with Horst Keller a killer instructor where I was more talking about my playing styles and my tricks, and I show some tricks that I used in my song Strat King, explaining how I come up in making solos, how I structure solos, and yeah, some of my tips and tricks. Check this out. Next week, you can see me live back in the studio with new surprising content. See you.
Normalerweise sehen wir uns ja am Flughafen von LA, ne?
Aber immer. Alle Jahre wieder.
Jedes Mal, oder?
Genau.
Hallo Thomas, hallo Olli. Geil, dass wir wieder am Start sind.
Ja.
Ja, der Guitar Summit Mannheim.
Guitar Summit ist eine tierische Veranstaltung und ich bin so froh, dass die Branche sich halt einfach nochmal in person trifft, ne? Und wen man jetzt schon am ersten Tag schon die erste Stunde alles gesehen hat, saugeil.
Du hast natürlich auch was Neues mitgebracht.
Aber sicher.
Ich meine, dein AMP1 ist weltbekannt, sehr erfolgreich, läuft nach wie vor wie die Hölle.
Absolut. Und ich freue mich.
Läuft da was aus?
Nee.
Läuft weiter. Wollen alle wissen, ja?
Auslaufen tut bei mir höchstens die Kaffeetasse. Oder so. Nee. Der AMP1 ist ja nach wie vor das travel-freundliche, ich gucke dich an und denke.
Travel-friendly.
Ja, genau. Reisefreundliche Gitarrenprodukt, das auch in immer geilere Hände gerät. Also Adrian Vandenberg ist jetzt zum Beispiel bei mir da und ist mein größter Stalker. Der guckt nämlich immer meine Videos, so wie die anderen Leute meine gucken. Ne? Und dann sagt er, und er hat das Ding auch gespielt und spielt ihn auch einfach. Der spielt zweimal seinen Friedman, wenn er halt irgendwie mit viel Gepäck unterwegs sein darf, aber auch solche Leute fliegen halt einfach.
Ich sag immer, wenn du einen Amp brauchst, der in den Gitarrenkoffer passt, dann ist das genau die richtige Idee.
Genau. Und das
ist mein Spruch und so ist es auch.
Hey, danke, bringt's auf den Punkt. Und es ist so, jeden Tag gibt es wieder neue Leute, die da genau das entdecken, weil keiner traut der Kiste das erstmal zu. Ne? Also wenn man das nicht weiß, dann muss man es einfach mal erfahren haben. Und so geht das halt auch. Ja, insofern AMP1, alles gut.
Also AMP1, nach AMP1 kommt AMP-X.
Genau. Und
erzähl mal.
Also wir sind heute Morgen um 4 Uhr hier eingetroffen, ne? Weil der BluGui ist halt wie immer schwer, noch nicht zufrieden und noch nicht ganz fertig. Aber was wir hier heute zeigen können, ist schon eine Version, wo wir zum Beispiel schon mit sehr geilen Effekten aufwarten können, die vorher nicht da war. Also Stereo-Ping-Pong-Delays mit Modulation. Hallo. Oder auch ein paar tolle Amp-Sachen sind drin. Also das Ding wächst und gedeiht. Ich bin ganz, ganz ehrlich, ich habe zu Hause im Labor haben wir schon die nächste Inkarnation, die auch in die Produktion gehen wird. Aber es ist dann gut, wenn ich das Gefühl habe, ich habe ausgeschissen. Das muss ich wirklich so und ich weiß, dass die nächste Platinenrevision das hat. Die hat halt einfach ich habe Stufen nochmal rearranged, also umgedreht. Und ich hab jetzt so Endstufenröhren Sachen drin, wie man 6L6 und die ganzen unterschiedlichen Typen machen kann. Auch dieses Schmatzverhalten von verschiedenen Sachen war mir wichtig. Ich habe vor allem noch eine Sache rausgekriegt, das kennt die ganze Industrie noch nicht, wie ich den Charakter so ändern kann, dass ich zum Beispiel Amps, die eine gewisse Brutalität und Rauheit haben, von Amps, die eine gewisse Smoothheit haben, unterscheiden kann. Normalerweise ist es so, du kaufst ja einen Marshall und dann hat er so eine gewisse Charakter. Und egal welchen Kanal du durch diese Klangregelung schickst oder durch diesen Amp schickst, er kommt immer aus diesem Haus. Und ein Amp wie der AMP-X, der so flexibel sein soll, dass er alles kann, der muss auch den Charakter wechseln können. Und das Ding hat noch keiner gelöst, aber wir.
Okay. Und das, also für die den AMP-X noch nicht kennen, es geht schon um halt einen Ableger des AMP1. Du hast natürlich diese 4 Voicings.
Ja, Moment. Ja? Das ist einfach nur noch ein Überbleibsel vom AMP1. Und zwar gibt es hier die 4 Favoriten, die kannst du ja belegen. Du hast im Prinzip eine Amp-Sektion. In der Amp-Sektion findest du, wie bei einem Modeler, später unterschiedlichste Amps. Und zwar von BluGuitar. Aber du kannst auch später mal einen Dumble nachkaufen. Ne? Okay. So, also wir können quasi digital kontrolliert unsere Analogschaltung dahin bringen, dass sie jeder Verstärker der Welt sein kann, umgesetzt habe. Ich mache quasi Sounddesign später mit dem Laptop.
Okay, darum geht's.
Ja, so, aber auf einem Level, wo es sonst keiner bedienen kann, weil wir kriegen Amps von mir, ich kann die aber auch vielleicht mal tweaken. Wenn der Olli sagt, ich hätte gerne ein bisschen mehr Schmatz und Schlurf, dann ist das kein Problem, da weiß ich, wo ich an meinem Laptop drehe und dann kann ich dir meinen Amp tunen, als würdest du einen anderen, was weiß ich, Kondensator an der ersten Röhre haben und die Betriebsspannung etwas tiefer machst. Also diese ganzen Sachen können wir machen, das ist aber auf einer digitalen Ebene und der Sound bleibt voll analog. Das ist Gitarre bis Speaker, null Latenz, null Wandlung. Das Einzige, was eine Wandlung hat, sind die digitalen Time-Based Effects wie Hall, Delay, Chorus. Aber die Booster sind voll analog. Die Verzerrer sind voll analog. Die Amps sind voll analog. Und das ist eigentlich das immens Neue. Dass es eine analoge Kiste gibt, die aber am Schluss so funktioniert wie die Convenient-Packung der Modeler.
Okay, also ich würde sagen, wir hören uns die Kiste zusammen an, wenn du kommst.
Ja, das machen wir.
Das machen wir auf jeden Fall. Du kommst auf jeden Fall.
Aber gerne.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem weiteren Livestream, ihr Lieben. Heute habe ich Thomas Blug am Start.
Servus, hey.
Horst. Eine große Freude.
Ja, immer
lieber
wieder.
Thomas.
Ja.
Es ist fast ein Jahr wieder vergangen. Unfassbar.
Ja, das ist unfassbar.
Es ist unfassbar, aber du bist schwerst beschäftigt.
Ja, das ist aber bei mir systemimmanent. Das bin ich schon seitdem ich Teenager war. Also ich war mal ein Quengelkind mit ein Nutella-Fresser, Quengelkind. Und dann habe ich die Gitarre entdeckt und dann hatte ich keine Zeit mehr.
Hattest du auch keine Probleme mehr?
Genau. So, dann bin ich nur noch nach dem Üben zum Nutella-Fressen gekommen.
Ihr Lieben, wir sind live, wir freuen uns sehr. Wie setzt ihr lange und kurze Delays ein?
Gute Frage.
Bei vielen aktuellen Demos von Camper, Modellern und so weiter wirkt der Sound dank Delays fett und mächtig.
Ja.
Wie stelle ich das ein? Okay, die nächste ist dann schon die AMP-X-Frage.
Ja.
Aber jetzt gehen wir mal auf die ein. Wie setzt ihr lange und kurze Delays ein? Okay.
Also ich kann das kurz machen. Bei mir ist es so, das kurze Delay ist bei mir auf dem Pedalboard. Und zwar im Moment gerade an, wenn man hört. Das ist jetzt sogar noch auf länger eingestellt. Normalerweise habe ich das kürzer. Warum habe ich das eigentlich so lang? Naja, weil die Delay-Time steht zu lang. Das steht normalerweise hier. Und ich habe das hier noch ein bisschen abgedunkelt, wie man hört. Ja. Und das ist für mich ein Always-On-Delay. Das ist quasi immer an. Außer bei meinen trockenen Funky-Gitarren. Also das heißt, hier bei meinem ganzen Rockzeug, was weiß ich. So, das ist quasi wie der Hall, einfach ein bisschen eine Fahne hinten. Ne? So, das ist mein kürzeres Delay. Ich sag mal so, die Rockabilly-Jungs, die brauchen ein noch kürzeres. Das muss lauter sein und kürzer sein. Ne? Also das wäre zum Beispiel, ist egal.
Ja, nur so als Hinweis.
Ja. So.
Du hast bestimmt auch Delay-Zeiten im Kopf, die du...
Ja, also ich sag mal so, hier sind das 200 Millisekunden so. Und dann habe ich aber auch diese getimten Dinger, diese U2-Dinger. So, und die mache ich mit meinem Replex da unten, also mit so einem, warte mal,
alles cool.
Warte mal, wo sieht man es?
Ja, da unten.
Da, genau. Da.
Ich kann ja auch mit der Kamera so.
Genau, das Ding. So, und hier habe ich dann halt...
Das ist immer noch legendär, dieses Teil.
Ja. Ich liebe es. So, das sind meine getimten. Und dann habe ich hier noch die längste Delay-Zeit, das sind 800 Millisekunden. Die nutze ich für so eine Space-Nummer, wenn ich dann...
Sehr schön.
So, wenn man die jetzt leiser dreht, dann kann ich selber mit meinem eigenen Delay spielen. Und da mache ich halt einen meiner Lieblingstricks mit dem Lautstärkeregler. Das heißt, wenn ich leise aufdrehe, habe ich meinen Clean-Bereich und das Delay ist auch noch nicht so laut. So, wenn ich jetzt reingehe,
Verdammt.
wird das laut, ne?
Wie kriegst du das hin?
Pass auf, das liegt daran, dass das so reagiert. Das Problem ist nur, ich muss mitdenken.
Ja.
Ne?
Thomas, ich kenne kein anderes Delay, was das kann.
Das kann jedes Delay, das vor der Verzerrung ist. Das Problem ist, wenn du ganz normal spielst, ist das ein Irrsinnsmatsch. Also ich spiele jetzt mal ganz normal. Wenn ich jetzt hier spiele so... Es ist im Moment von der Lautstärke so leise, dass jedes Note, die ich drüber spiele, das Delay wieder überdeckt. Und dann kommt der Kipppunkt, wo das Delay alles Gespielte überdeckt. Das ist jetzt hier so. Deswegen ist es immer, wer mich auf der Bühne sieht, ich tauche immer unter an diesen einen Regler. Ne? Also hier, das ist zum Beispiel jetzt sehr laut. Und dann haben wir das Problem. So. Völliges Chaos. So, jetzt drehe ich das Ding ungefähr auf die Hälfte. Jetzt passiert Folgendes. Das Delay ist zwar da, aber wenn ich spiele, hört man es nicht.
Das kann nicht jedes Delay. Also der Trick ist, okay, es kann es eigentlich, ist es machbar, aber der Trick, lass mir das erklären und du kannst mich korrigieren, der Trick ist, dass es vorgeschaltet hast.
Genau.
Und dadurch wird es dynamisch.
Genau.
Also vorgeschaltet heißt, sogar vor dem Verzerrer?
Genau, vor dem Verzerrer. Ganz
nach dem Kompressor?
Ja, also Kompressor? Im Prinzip, wenn du einen Kompressor hättest, nach dem Kompressor und vor der Verzerrung. Wenn man mal alte Led Zeppelin Sachen anhört, dann hat er das auch so, ach, unsere Mücke
das
ist wieder
die berühmte Fliege aus Breaking Bad.
Aber wir sind heute bewaffnet. Es gibt was. Also wenn du nervst, bist du dran, ne?
Wenn nicht,
genau.
kannst du entkommen.
Genau. Also wir sind friedlich, solange du uns in Ruhe lässt. Das Thema Delay ist faszinierend. Und
sehr faszinierend.
Das geht mit diesem Band-Echo-Simulat, was das ja ist, sehr gut. Das hat zum Beispiel der Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin, bei 100er Love und so weiter eingesetzt. Hat er im Mittelteil so... So, jetzt habe ich ausgeschaltet. Ne? Also...
Ich bin jetzt frech. Pass auf, was ich mache. Also weil ich muss das testen. Also ich gehe kurz auf die Helix-Software.
Ja.
So,
und guckst, ob sie das auch kann.
Ja. Ich habe hier mein Delay.
Challenge.
Ich schalte es mal an. Man hört's. Das ist ein Bandecho.
Ja,
ich ziehe es hier vor die Zerre.
Ja, und dann musst du... So, jetzt machen wir Gas.
Und... Verdammt, geil.
So, pass auf. Und jetzt spiel mal auf der Gitarre bei 3. Ziemlich leise.
Ganz leise.
Ganz leise.
Mach mal wieder. Und wir es aufdrehen?
Dann drehen wir auf.
Gut, ich habe jetzt ein schnelleres Tempo, bräuchte ich.
Ja, aber im Prinzip, das Prinzip funktioniert schon. Das hier ist noch ein Quäntchen geiler, aber man kann das optimieren.
Ja.
Das Prinzip, ne?
Ja. Leise und dann kommt's.
Ja.
Und dann leise. Du musst halt es spüren.
Genau.
Du musst es fühlen, wo die Grenze ist.
Es ist wie Surfen auf, ist das Delay lauter als ich oder bin ich lauter als das Delay? Und das kann ich, also damit kann ich, den Punkt kann
ein
ich...
Ein fantastischer Tipp von dir.
Ne? Und das ist halt...
Ja. Kannst du in deiner Schaltung das Delay dann auch nach hinten schalten?
Nee, das ist jetzt hier einfach so fest.
Du magst es so. Du
ja.
arbeitest so damit, genau.
Ich habe ja im
Und deswegen sieht man dich beim Bücken Output.
Weil dieses Ding hier hat einfach nur einen Regler, der liegt auf keinem Fußregler, das ist halt zu alt, aber es klingt halt so toll. Ja. Und ich habe mich ja mit dem Thema Banddelays bei mir auf meinem eigenen Kanal gerade 2 Folgen lang beschäftigt.
Ja, war legendär.
Und hab dann aus Forschungen rausgekriegt, dass die alten Bandechos so Filter hatten für Bass und Höhen. Mhm. Und dann kommt noch der Effekt dazu, dass wenn die Wiederholungen wiederholt werden, dass das Band den Klang auch nochmal ausdünnt. Mhm. Weil die halt, sagen wir so, schlecht wiedergeben. Das Band ist so ausgelutscht. Mhm. Und das kann man hier ich spiele das auf Maximaleinstellung. Okay. Das heißt, der Auslutschfaktor ist der höchste. Das heißt, bei jeder Wiederholung bleibt noch weniger vom erkennbaren Signal hängen. Mhm. Und deswegen verschleicht sich das so schön.
Mhm. Hast du, wenn du es vorschaltest, hat es ja auch noch einen Einfluss auf den Gesamtsound. Kannst du damit leben?
Ich liebe den.
Du liebst
den. Pass auf, ich sag mal, so, das Gerät jetzt hier ist das Houston Kettner Reflex. Ja. Im Bypass passiert Folgendes. So klingt mein Amp, so ist das alles. So. Yes. Und jetzt habe ich dieses Ding, das ist ja quasi ein Echoplex EP1 oder 2. Die ersten beiden Echoplex waren mit Röhre. Mhm. Und dann gibt es das Echoplex 3. Mhm. Das war Transistor. Da hat ja heute jeder mal so vom EP3 Booster gehört. Mhm. Und das hier ist quasi EP1 oder 2. Und ich zeig mal, was der Sound ist. So, nicht viel, aber es macht für eine Strat genau das Richtige. Es macht's dick. Also füllt die Strat dort auf, wo die Paula es normalerweise hat. Ja. Und das habe ich schon vor 20 Jahren, wann war das? 1995? Verdammt lang her.
Verdammt lang her, genau. Oh, mein Delay ist noch drin.
Okay, das geht. Der Jürgen Zöller müsste jetzt mitspielen. Der wohnt doch hier in Karlsruhe.
Ja, der spielt hier oft. Ja,
ich spiele ja öfters, aber der war ja 30 Jahre bei BAP. Ja, vor allem der Vorgezogene. Ne, egal.
Ja. Auch im Riff übrigens ist ein gemeiner Trick eigentlich drin. Ne?
Mach du mal.
Ich weiß nicht, ob ich richtig kann.
Ja, ich auch nicht, aber... Ja.
Da ist so ein... Habe ich es richtig gespielt?
Ich glaube, du spielst
richtig. Ich habe es noch in Erinnerung.
Ja. Super. Ja.
Da ist dieser Vorzieher drin. Ne?
Genau. Und der Jürgen hat halt am Schlagzeug...
Genau.
Ne? Genau. Den,
super.
Ja.
Super. Genau. Das ist in A, ne?
Genau. A mixolydisch. Also im Prinzip mache ich... das ist quasi D, ne? C... Also genau, ich mache mich mal hier richtig vor der Kamera breit.
Alles gut.
Das könnte auch aus einer Folk-Nummer sein. Warte mal, ich gucke mal, ob ich so besser in der Kamera...
Ja, perfekt.
Jetzt habe ich mich irgendwo rausgezogen.
Jo, schauen wir mal.
Oder hast du mich ausgezogen?
No. Vielleicht ist es hinten raus, aus dem George, aus dem Dennis.
Wieso bin ich jetzt tot? Hallo. Das Kabel am Lautstärkeregler. So, pass auf. Man sollte nicht mit den Kabeln um sich schmeißen.
Alles gut, wir sind live. Ich bin einfach heute viel am Mischpult hier. Ne?
Ja, genau. Wir brauchen MC Keller.
MC Keller, genau.
So, im Prinzip ist das könnte man auch aus einem Folksong her kennen.
Das erzeugt so schöne Spannung. Weiter geht's halt nicht. Du bist wirklich bis zur letzten Note.
Genau.
Und das erzeugt so, irgendwann denkt man, verdammt, löst das Ding jetzt auf.
Genau.
Oder?
Ja, bei 21 Bünden ist halt Stopp. Ne? So, und jetzt gibt's halt noch einen Trick. Also ich spiele jetzt nicht nur die 2 Seiten, sondern ich spiele quasi...
Die A-Seite noch ein bisschen mit,
ja. Die E-Seite. Also ich klimper quasi wie so ein Folkgitarre.
Wie so ein Folkgitarre.
Zu laut.
Ja, mach das. Das ist gut. Pegel ist gut.
So, pass mal auf. Also... So, und das kriegt auch keiner hin. Der Schluss ist nämlich da, 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 ne? Und nicht da, 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 da. Das ist da, 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 da. So. Genau, weil dann hast du nämlich, also das hat was mit Funky zu tun und das geht dann quasi, ist dann schon der erste Impuls in dieses Motiv, das rhythmischer gedacht ist. Ne?
Ja. Ein paar Tipps zum Hybrid Picking geben. Nächstes Jahr bin ich auch auf der Guitar Summit.
Ja, Hybrid Picking. Pass auf, Hybrid Picking ist halt, das erste Ding ist, warte mal, wo ist die Kamera? Hier. Ja. Pick halten, Pick verstecken, Pick halten, Pick verstecken. Damit ich auch nur mit.
Wo hältst du? Du hältst. Ein Zeigefinger. Ja. Guck.
Genau, du hast
den Mittelfinger.
Er ist der Mittelfinger, ich bin der Zeigefingertipp, ne? So. So, dann.
Du machst es gerne auch bei Akkorden und bei so mittelschnellen Läufen.
Genau. Ich sag mal so, wie heißt das? String Skipping, das ist viel zu viel Arbeit.
Das ist, ja.
Genau, deswegen wird man irgendwann faul und macht Hybrid Picking. Ja. Und das klingt auch super.
Das hat ja auch einen eigenen Sound.
Genau. Ja. Und ich mag den Sound und insofern... Also wenn ich das in Hybrid Picking, wenn ich das im Vollpicking mache, das klingt im Hybrid einfach besser. Voll gepickt.
Es lebt.
Viel perkussiver.
Ich mache das leider nicht so oft. Gerne als bei Akkorden, aber dann mache ich es auch gerne auch so wirklich, dass ich alle 3 Finger nehme und das hier so, wenn ich so die Stones-Sachen spiele. Ne? So, ne?
Da habe ich noch einen Trick zu zeigen. Kennst du den?
Den Fingerbrecher. Spielen die das wirklich so?
Nee, die natürlich nicht. Aber
wenn kein Open Tuning haben.
Also was ich mache, ist halt C-Dur jetzt quasi als Barré.
C, also dreh dich noch ein bisschen. Also wir haben hier das C. Ich blende mich hier auch mal ein.
Ja.
Aber ist egal, ich bin ja wichtig.
Okay.
So, das C.
Und dann gehe ich hier
reversed,
genau, gehe ich mit dem.
So machst du ein Open Tuning draus.
Genau, Open Tuning. So. Ja. So, und jetzt kann ich mit den 2 hier. Also ich kann das
super
Keith Richards mäßig egal wohin schieben.
Er macht ein Open Tuning draus.
Ja, aber und ich habe mit dieser Kralle, sage ich jetzt mal...
Die Kralle ist ein gutes Training, finde ich jetzt.
Ja.
Diese Unabhängigkeit in den Fingern hinzubekommen. Ne?
Das ist...
Ne?
Genau,
das ist genau das Ding. Ja. Problem dabei muss man aber auch wissen, wenn man das zu lange macht, ist die Hand zu...
Du kannst einen Krampf kriegen. Oder?
Genau. Das ist so dieses Barré-Phänomen.
Ja.
Also man sollte sich da nicht zu viel quälen.
Ja.
Ne? Deswegen bin ich zum Beispiel auch Freund davon, wenn so Dinger in A-Dur sind, dann kann ich bei C, die gerade so...
Sehr schön.
Ne, dann ist die Hand entspannt.
Ja, also zwischendrin, wenn es in C spielt. Ja.
Ne?
Genau.
Ne? Also das macht mir das Leben leichter.
Ja, auf jeden Fall.
Das ist eine der wichtigsten Prämissen beim Gitarrespielen. Macht dir das Leben leicht. Wir reden zwar immer über das komplizierte Zeug, aber am Schluss ist es wie meine erste Platte, The Beauty of Simplicity. Mach's einfach.
Toller Name.
Oh, ich habe hier ein was? We didn't find the time. Just found it. Danke. So we didn't find the time to put subtitles. Give you a little story about my background and how I came. Okay. Nochmal. 3 Hunde. Okay.